Alright folks, Danny Macaskill here. Hope you're all staying safe in this crazy time. Pretty mad really. Meguro have actually asked me to do a live stream to talk about my brakes. Unfortunately I've not got good enough signal to do that, so I thought I'd do a wee Instagram TV instead. Brakes are obviously super important for me, as with any rider, but especially as a trials rider, you're really relying on very consistent, powerful brakes. I've also been riding Meguro brakes since I was about 14 years old. I had some race lines, HS33 race lines on my mountain bikes and trials bikes all the way back then, and it's a really cool thing for me to be riding for the brand and rocking race line colours even to this day. So I will take you through the setup. Hold on. So we will start with my heckler. Those of you who are following me on my Instagram have probably seen that I've been riding Santa Cruz's new e-bike. I've been pretty obsessed with the thing. Just pure and utter fun, up and downhill and everything in between, so pretty fun. Obviously being a bigger bike, it needs some bigger brakes. So luckily, just in time for this getting launched, Meguro have launched their MDPR. I mean, we need to double check that exact rotor, but it's basically their 220 disc. It's got an aluminium spider, and it's actually got a little bit of float between the disc itself and the spider to deal with extra heat that you can build up on the big descents. I am rocking the MT7 calipers on here. At the moment I've actually not tried the new E-specific brake pads that Meguro have brought out. I'm just rocking the standard performance pads, which have been absolutely amazing. I mean, there's one thing I can say with riding e-bikes, you definitely need the bigger brakes, and the power that these things are putting out is just perfect, in my opinion. I just can't get enough of it. Up on the lever side, I'm running the NT7 lever body, and then we've also got the HC3 lever blade, which is definitely my favourite out of all the Meguro lever blades. I really like the fact that you can actually adjust the power, you know, the leverage ratio for this little sort of dial just in here. So I'm running them actually at the most powerful setting. It makes the lever feel nice and progressive, but there's just so much power. It's just amazing and just very, very controllable. One thing that you've probably noticed and people call me out for is my brake angle. If you maybe look at some of the downhillers out there, they're almost running their brake levers flat. As a trials rider, I tend to run my levers quite steep down the way, because you spend a lot of time with the handlebars in your crotch while you're kind of going up obstacles. They're also kind of tucked out the way when you're going over the bars, which if you've ever seen me ride or at the end of any of my films, then yeah, I do a lot of that kind of crashing. But yeah, I really can't get enough of these brakes. I mean, it's really actually what makes this bike come alive, to be honest. You're so in control. On the rear, I am running, at the moment, Meguro's standard Storm rotor. I will be upgrading to their solid E-disc, I think on the rear, yeah, as soon as I get hold of one, so absolutely mint. And I also have another bike here. We've got my very special 24-inch Santa Cruz custom-made carbon trials bike. Pretty damn cool if you ask me. I'm very lucky to get to ride such a thing. On this I am rocking the fluoro yellow, raceline yellow MT7 calipers. I've actually had custom built adapters for this bike, just because they've got sort of special fittings for the carbon forks. Same on the rear setup, I've got a very chunky rear disc adapter just to take all that extra force, and it's basically easier to build it like this than building tabs on the frame. I've also got rocking some pretty special levers on here, 3D printed titanium prototypes. It's kind of the HC3 body, and then we've been playing around with different lever ends to see what kind of suits my kind of riding setup. On this bike I'm also rocking the 203 Storm rotors, front and rear. In my opinion, you can never really have brakes that are too powerful. You know, it's you just have to learn to modulate them, but especially on the mountain bikes, in my opinion, if you're flying down a hill, if you still feel in control with that kind of power, then you know it means you can go a little bit faster. Not that I'm a racer, but that's how I feel anyway. And then on the trials bike, I'm running the 203 rotors, just the ultimate power. And the cool thing about the NT7s is that it's nice and under control. Again, very steep lever, very steep levers. I mean, they're not that far off the vertical there. Kind of keeps them out of the way, you know, from hitting the ground when you go over the bars. And then what actually happens if you're actually standing on the bike? Well, I could maybe try track stand while on the phone here. If you're on the bike, your arm's actually kind of in line there. You know, when you're standing, you know, that's the way I look at it. I'm not hanging off the back as much. You know, you sometimes muck it up, and yeah, you basically have the handlebars, you know, right in your kind of stomach, and you don't really want your levers pointing there. But that's about it. All in all, super stoked with my brakes and brake setup. Very proud to be riding for Magura, as I said, and yeah, hope you enjoy riding them too. Cheers, and stay safe in these crazy times. Bye.